That's one of the things that we really wanted to do, was to make a movie about black people who are just trying to figure out their lives. One that doesn't spin on like trauma or drama, or it doesn't require any kind of big kind of dramatic thing, but that we're just gonna put the camera on these like black folks and just watch them live and try to move from this position to that one, you know? And in a way, making it felt kind of like a radical act in a sense, right? Because like there weren't so many movies like that.
This film reminds me of like a modern day version of Love Jones, like for this generation. And the fire soundtrack for Love Jones was everything for us back in the day. So if you had to pick a soundtrack for Love Brooklyn, what would that sound like?
A soundtrack for Love Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, I think it would sound like the one we got, you know? plus a few more. To be honest with you, we really wanted, I mean, sound is so important in any movie, but especially I feel like in our movies, I mean, we have as black folks have such a unique and special relationship to sound, to music. And so one of the things that we talked a lot about was trying to find ways to bring in the sounds of Brooklyn. By that I mean, like, you know, artists who are working today, making music, primarily female artists. So we had a lot of late night conversations about that, and a lot of, you know, music is expensive. I didn't know. I had no idea, man. I mean, like, we had our wish list, and then we went out to all these people, and they were like, that'll be $35,000. I was like, what? So, you know.
Wait, so was that just for the rights to use it?
Yes. It's very, very expensive. But fortunately, as is the case in a lot of the stuff you see in the movie, we were able to call on favors. So Addie Oasis, who plays the song that whose music is the song that opens the movie, which is the song Serena. And then she has another song that comes in later, about midway through, is one of my oldest friends. We moved to New York at the same time. She came from France, and she was like, I want to be a singer. And I was like, I'm from Alabama. I want to be an actor. And,
not from Alabama. I want to be an actor.
Yeah. And so she showed up and like offered us some music. We found this amazing artist, Jordan O'Ryan, whose song plays at the very end. You know, we just were on Spotify, like digging, and we found this sister, and she had like 10 monthly listeners, but we were all like, yo, she's dope. And so she was willing to like come on board, and, you know, we pieced it together. There's some other Brooklyn artists that we brought in as well. Leon Thomas is on there. Yaya Bey is on there. So it was a vibe. It was a vibe.
Cool. Yeah. So Roger has a little bit of writer's block, and writer's block is real.
Yes.
Have you ever found yourself
a writer in the room?
A writer in the room, because you know.
Right now.
So have you ever found yourself seriously stuck like Roger is in the film creatively? Yes, for sure. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I feel stuck now. I feel stuck often, you know, as an actor. It's I think on the outside, it can appear as if things are going really well. You know, a lot of my friends who, you know, back in New York, I say, well, you're doing so many things, and I see you in this, and I see you in that. You must be doing great. But the truth is that it's often not great. It's often a dog fight, a struggle. I mean, we started putting this movie together 6 years ago. You know, it's a struggle. So like the practical part of it is a challenge, but then also artistically, you know, I feel like I'm always trying to grow. I always want to be better at what I'm doing. I want to work with great people, and I often come up against myself in that process, the limits of what I think I'm capable of doing. You know, I'm doing a play right now. I'm rehearsing a play right now here in LA that we're going to perform in New York. And just today, we had a rehearsal where I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't know if I got it anymore. I might be too old for this theater stuff, you know? But you bump into the edge, and then you somehow like find a way around it or over it, and you keep going. So, you know what? I've had conversations with you a couple of times, and now I have the opportunity to tell you this to your face. You are, in my opinion, one of the greatest actors of this generation. And I wish nothing but the best for you. Oh, man. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. Listen, bro, you bring it every single time. Like, every single time you bring it in spades. And if nobody told you that today, I'm telling you that today. Oh, man. Well, I certainly do appreciate that. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you. I want to talk about the whole non-boyfriend, girlfriend thing. Oh, Lord. He said, oh, Lord, here we go. Because I feel like my question about it is, why, when people are friends, when males and females are friends, like really good friends, and that feeling starts to transcend from being a friend to something more, why do we as friends have a hard time admitting that to one another? Because y'all go through it in this movie.
Yeah. You know, I think that's an interesting question. I think that, for me anyway, I think it comes down to fear. And that's one thing that I was trying to bring through in the character of Roger, is that it's not so much about him trying to choose between, do I want to be in this relationship or do I want to be in that relationship? Although that is a part of it. I think what I was hoping to accomplish is that he's beginning the process of learning how to be in relationship with himself. Like, he's at the very beginning of it. You know what I mean? And that's what's making it difficult for him to, you know, be completely honest and transparent about what's going on. And at the very end of the movie, when they walk over that hill, you know, some people have said like, oh, they got together at the end and that's cute. But in my opinion, it's not. It's like the very beginning. Like, he's just at the place where he's like, okay, I can he says, I've been working on some things, trying to fix some things. And he's just at the place where he's like, all right, I'm going to walk down that hill and go get ice cream with y'all. And from here to there, I'm going to try to be honest about who I am. And that's as much as I got today. And maybe that's enough. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's probably fear. Fear-based is the reason why we can't be honest with each other.
That's messed up.
I know. He messy. What can I say?
Speaking of which, I'm going to read this because I want to get it right.
Okay.
So at some point... somewhere at some point in the film, something is said about you can't get caught up in what's behind you, or you can't see what lies ahead. Mm-hmm. For me, is the message of the film. Do you agree or disagree with that? Because I feel like he spends a lot of time in that movie not being present with either one of the relationships. Do you agree with that or disagree?
Well, I mean, I think in the abstract, I agree. I think if one wants to be in a healthy relationship, you have to have some kind of relationship with your past, but also not be so bound to it that it makes it impossible for you to be present in your life. At the same time, I feel like we all need time to figure out how to do that. And I think that Roger and, you know, Casey and Nicole, to be fair, I think they also have their things that they're going through as well. I think that there's often this expectation that once you get to a certain age, you've got it all figured out. And like, the truth is that's not the case. I mean, I'm in my early 40s and I ain't got the mess figured out. So, you know, and I don't think I'm alone in that. So yeah, like in the abstract, sure, I think we should all have a healthy relationship with our past and move forward with no strings. But the truth is, relationships are always in that gray, in that kind of messy middle. So you giving me that side eye, like, you know,
yeah,
like I'm one of them dudes. Yeah, am I one of them dudes? Is that what you're trying to say?
Hey, I don't know. I can find out, but I don't know. Let's talk about, so Roger, I kind of love this about Roger. I love the fact that Roger took on the little girl as if she was going to be his own. Mm-hmm. And I love that he did that. But at the same time, it was like, how much pressure would you feel in real life if you were dating someone that had a child with someone else who was no longer on the planet? You're competing with a ghost. You're competing with the child's memory of the ghost. You're competing with your love's memory of the ghost. But you're still trying to be there for all of them. How would you handle that in real life if you were trying to just be there for that person in all ways possible, including being there for their kid?
Yeah, well, I haven't had that experience, but I think that what comes to mind for me was I grew up in Alabama in like a very, very small town, one in which, you know, if somebody had a child, that child belonged to the whole community. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Like I would leave my house.
It was like that in Missouri too.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like my mama was my mama, but if, you know, Miss Jenkins saw me down there doing something I had no business doing,
not Miss Jenkins,
she'll snatch me. You know what I mean? She'll get me too. And so I think I would hope that my approach would be one in which, like, it wouldn't just be about me trying to step in and be some kind of like domineering father figure or like fill someone's role, but that I would become a part of the community that is involved in the rearing of this child. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
I do.
I think that's what I would hope would be true.
Very well stated, my man. Very well stated.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I also want to talk about Cassandra's scene Because, baby, Cassandra is just talking and talking and talking and talking, and the scene is going on and on and on. I need for you to tell these people, how many times did y'all have to tape that scene, and did y'all end up going with the final version of what she did, or was that like some version in the middle, or did it vary? Like, talk to me about it.
So I'll tell you from the beginning. So Cassandra and I went to college together. We went to undergrad. Most people know her now from Bel Air. You know, she's amazing in that show, and has been amazing in so many things. She often is playing these kind of dramatic roles, but I've known her since she was 17 years old. She is a comedic genius. She is hilarious. If she walked here right now, she'd have everybody in stitches. She's so funny. And so when we were trying to cast that part, you know, it was what it was on the page, and there wasn't much there, to be honest, about who this character was or what she was even talking about. And so I just called Cassie, and I was like, look, take a look at these pages. Tell me what you think. You know, would you be interested in doing this part if given space to just come in and make it your own? And she was like, are you kidding? I've always wanted to do something like that, and people don't give me a chance to. So, yeah, I would love to. So she came in and did it, and she probably did it like 4 or 5 times, and it was different, completely different every time. So the editor had a lot of fun trying to piece that together. But that was one of the things about the movie that really felt special to me, is that, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to produce it, is because I wanted people to have an opportunity to do things that they don't often get to do. For me, I wanted to play a romantic lead. You know, for so long in my career, my agents would say, well, you know, they say the things that agents say, right? Like, if you hadn't done it, nobody believes you can do it. And
they were wrong. I'm just saying.
Well, we'll see when the movie comes out. But whether like it's successful or not, it doesn't matter as much as I wanted to have that experience, and I wanted Nicole Bahari, who I've known since she was at Juilliard. She and I have been good friends since back then. I wanted us to be able to do some scenes together. I wanted to be in the scene with DeWanda because I think she's amazing.
She is.
Same with Roy Wood Jr. People know him as a comedian, but he grew up in Alabama with me, and I know he really wants to try to do some like more serious stuff. So literally, this movie was just me calling people and saying, hey, are you free? Would you be interested in doing this thing? And to my surprise, every single person I called said, I'll be there. When do we start? Aww. And so it was really, I'm proud of the movie for sure. I think it's charming and sweet, and it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. I think I think what's wonderful is that we got a group of people together to do something that a lot of people said we couldn't do, and we had a really good time along the way. And I think that counts for almost as much as a box office hit or any of that other stuff. We made space for ourselves and for each other, and I'm so proud of that.
Let's stay in that space for a minute.
All right.
He's like, all right.
Amen.
Where we going? You shot it in Brooklyn.
We did.
You live in Brooklyn.
I do.
And I know that some of it was shot in your house. What scenes were shot in your house?
Well, speaking of money, this thing was made on a shoestring. Like, shoestring. Whoo.
You having a flashback?
Lord have mercy. Yeah, I'm still in the middle of that. But the stoop, one of the stoops was mine. The backyard scene with the editor, that's my backyard. And that, by the way, that's my friend. You know Lisa Lucas? Y'all know her? Mm-mm. Lisa Lucas, she is an amazing thinker and scholar. She was at Pantheon Books for a number of years. She was hired during the sort of, summer of 2020, going into 2021, where all these sort of positions became available, and people of color were put in positions. And then she was summarily dismissed not long ago. And so we thought it would be really interesting to have her voice in the movie as a person who's representing, this literary figure, this, publisher. So that was my house. There was what else was there? We shot on my roof. Some of the bike riding scenes, we were up on the roof shooting. But it's also, the cafes are friends of mine's coffee shops. The restaurants are friends of mine's restaurants. It all was just hey man, can we, because when we saw those,
shooting,
oh my God, when we saw those location fees, I was like, we ain't gonna make it, y'all. So
no, we ain't gonna make it.
It was like that. But again, community, man. People showed up and made it possible for us to do this, and I will forever be grateful to the community of Brooklyn, New York, for helping us make this movie happen.
Is that what you loved most about shooting it in Brooklyn and calling it Love Brooklyn? Or is there something else that you want to add to that? What was your favorite thing about shooting it in Brooklyn as opposed to shooting it in one of the other boroughs like, Manhattan or the Bronx or Queens or even up in Long Island or Westchester?
Yeah. I think for me, Brooklyn feel like I said, I'm from Alabama, and I live in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, and yeah.
Somebody said,
And in Bed-Stuy, it feels as much like Alabama as any place I've ever been. And since you walk out your door, like I know all my neighbors. You know, I know all the kids that's on the block. People support. Somebody, my neighbor, Miss Lorraine, had a fish fry 2 weeks ago and was like, "You coming through?" I was like, "I'm coming." So, and everybody go to Miss Lorraine's for the fish fry. It felt like that, you know. And I really wanted to experience that, you know, while making something. I wanted to feel held. I also wanted to celebrate that community. Yeah, so I couldn't imagine it happening. You know, originally the movie, when it was written, was set in Manhattan. It took place on the Upper West Side. And so we were like, let's change that. Let's bring it to Brooklyn. So, yeah.
Talk to me about collaborating with your director on this film. How did you guys hook up together? Was she an old school friend as well?
No, I didn't know her. So the script came to me back in 2019. The director was attached. There were 2 other producers that were attached, and then there was a loose attachment of this actress. The actress ended up stepping away for scheduling reasons, and so it ended up just being me, Rachel, the director, and these other 2 producers. And that's what it was for a time, and it wasn't coming together. Frankly, it wasn't coming together. And so I started a production company of my own about 6 years ago, and so I brought it to my team, and I said, would you guys want to take this on? Me and my two friends who I work with. And they both agreed, and so we stepped in, and we managed to go out and like raise the money. Steven Soderbergh, who's a good friend of mine, who's been a real supporter of me for a long time, stepped up and helped with some of the financing. Then my company put up the rest of the financing, and so we managed to put it together. And yeah, Rachel was attached when the movie came to me, and so yeah, that's how it was. And it was her first time. It's her first feature. Which, you know, is challenging, especially when you're doing it. She was 7 months pregnant at the time. Again, exactly. Like, hats off to her. With like very little money, we had, you know, COVID shut down. We had the strikes. I mean, everything that could go wrong in a movie, I think went wrong. But she hung in there and got us to the finish line. So.
That's beautiful. I'm glad that y'all did it because it's a beautiful film. I really love it a lot.
Thank you.
In closing it out, I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
Is it possible to love someone in a new way, or is it possible to just let them go and let them find a new way to love in the circumstances in which everyone finds themselves in this film? Because while you think about that, I dated somebody once.
Here we go. Come on now.
That's where the question came from. You know it did.
I know.
I dated somebody once who said that if you really, really love someone and you want the best for them, you have to learn how to let them go. To love and let go. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I mean, I guess letting go is an inevitable part of loving. Right? Whether it be because you choose to let go or they choose to let go, or, you know, time and life separates you in the way that we all will be separated from one another at some point, right? So maybe there is maybe loving does require an acceptance of the impermanence of the condition, you know? So maybe that person was right, that one does have to accept, you know, a letting go in order to be fully present. I think maybe that I'm gonna think about that, but that's what I think right now.
I know it's deep, right? So when they said that to me, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let that one slide, but okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna think more about that, but I'm glad that came up for you in watching the movie.
It did come up for me in watching the movie.
And
I
especially
really did.
I know we got to wrap up, but I just want to say one more time too. I appreciate what you said at the beginning about this movie reminding you of like Love Jones.
Yeah.
Which I don't, you know. Yeah, I don't claim that. I don't want to make the claim that like this movie is up there with Love Jones.
I'm gonna make the claim
you
for
can do
you.
it. I ain't gonna do it.
Okay, you ain't got to do it. I'm doing it for you.
You can do it for me. But what I do feel is important is that to say it touches me to hear you say that, because that's one of the things that we really wanted to do, was to make a movie about Black people who are just trying to figure out their lives. one that doesn't spin on like trauma or drama, or it doesn't require any kind of big kind of dramatic thing, but that we're just gonna put the camera on these like black folks and just watch them live and try to move from this position to that one, you know? And in a way, making it felt kind of like a radical act in a sense, right? Because like there weren't so many movies like that. So anyway, I hope that this movie can be one that is in conversation with movies like Love Jones and Love and Basketball that we all love so much.
It definitely will be. It definitely will be. This film was a love letter to black love, black relationships, black people, and to Brooklyn. And I'm so happy that you produced and starred in it and brought it to the masses for us to see. Thank you, Andre, for this discussion.
Thank you for this wonderful
I appreciate
talk.
you.
Thank you. And thank you all.
Thank you all for coming. Good night.
And can I be greedy and ask for one little thing? Y'all said no.
It got quiet. Everybody was like,
It's a tiny thing. Just that if y'all did enjoy it, and no tea, no shade if you didn't, but if you did enjoy it, would you just tell somebody? Because, like, man, thank you so much. Because I ain't gonna lie, man, it's been a struggle. And we open on the 29th of August in New York, and then on the 5th of September, it's gonna come out nationwide. And, obviously it's of the utmost importance that people actually show up to see it. Otherwise, as you know, it becomes more and more difficult. And, one of the things that I and my production company want to do is we want to make things easier for folks who are coming up behind us. And I think, this is an opportunity for us to do that. If we can show that a movie like this can bring people out and can perform, that maybe it'll be a little easier for the next person. So if y'all don't mind, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is one of the things I love about Film Independent, because Film Independent embraces lovely, beautiful independent films such as this, and it helps to get the word out through the audiences that come to see and screen the films and listen to the discussions in the panel. So you're in the right place, bro.
All right. Well, I'm at home. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was